All right, it's Friday, so you know we got to get to some power rankings. No EJ in the house, but we're going to start with Callie's. Callie, take us through your 5.
Yeah, I mean, starting, I guess, at number 1, the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, it's a pretty easy pick, I think, across the board after being reigning champs. And number 2, the Vegas Golden Knights. I just like the way they handled Minnesota, who came into their building playing extremely hot and getting 2 wins against them. And then, you know, you look at that North Division, and how do you not like the Toronto Maple Leafs? They are playing so good defensively this year, which I think for me is a big part of that. And as we talk about defensive hockey, you move on to my number 4 pick, the New York Islanders, and I think they're playing.
Nice transition. Nice.
Yeah, they're playing more New York Islanders hockey now, is which I like, and the way they play under Trotz, they're in every game. So I think that's a big thing for them moving forward. And again, this is not the top 5. This is right now, so full fans don't get all over me about it.
You got to clarify,
and then also the Carolina Hurricanes. We just had Jordan Staal on the broadcast. I thought I'd throw him a little bit of love, but again, that's a lot of similar to the Islanders. They all play the same way. It's a deep lineup. And I've liked what they've done the last couple of years.
All right, so that is Callie's top 5 for right now. Johnny, how different or similar does yours look?
Yeah, not bad, but take heed that the fans will be upset with you no matter what you do on this list. So
yeah,
I like your first 3 picks. They make a lot of sense. Obviously, Tampa, Vegas, Toronto, for all the reasons you just laid out, they have all been excellent. I think they will be excellent for the rest of the year. I have Carolina at 4. You had them at 5. I obviously care about Jordan Staal a little bit more than you do, so I'm giving him, coming on the show, love at 4. You just kind of threw him in voluntarily at 5. But, you know, I love Carolina. I have for the entire year. I just think the style that they play and the pace that they play and the defense that they have is really good. And then I have Washington at 5. It could have been the Islanders. It could have been Florida, but Florida just lost a couple games to Carolina, so they're not on it. Washington Islanders. And I think Washington starting to play a little bit more physically, a little bit more defensive, and Samsonov starting to get back into the mix separates them because their high-end talent is better than the Islanders. Their system maybe not quite as good, but if they commit to playing defense, and they are playing better right now, then that's what gave them the edge over the Islanders. It was very close for me, but I got the cat scraping in there just because they're trending in the right direction. They went through a stretch where they kind of got fast and loose when all the COVID guys got back in the lineup, and then they had some injuries. But when they commit to playing hard, and Callie, you know this, with that kind of talent, they're a handful. They're tough to match up against. They may not score quite as many. Ovi might not get his 50-goal pace, but they're a better team because of it. So they got number 5 on my list.
You know, it's
what
hard.
You got, Jax?
It's really honestly hard. This very rarely happens during this segment. It's really hard to disagree with either of those top 5. So I'll shift the conversation and I'll ask you this. Which division is the toughest? We talk so much about how hard it is to know, is Tampa better than Boston? Is Toronto as good as Washington? Like, we don't know because they don't play each other. So which division is the toughest? Is it the East? Is it the Central because Tampa's in it and they look like the best team in the league? Johnny, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to go the toughest division probably is the division that has the most depth because, you know, high-end teams we probably can't quite tell is Tampa that much better than Vegas. I'm not really sure. They're pretty close. But the fact of the matter, the 4th place team in the North is Montreal. They just fired their coach. The 4th place team in the Central is Chicago. They're a little bit on the smoke and mirrors. The 4th place team in the West is, what is it, Arizona or is it Minnesota? They've been jockeying back and forth.
Yeah.
So I think the East is the best because the 4th place team right now is Boston. And they have Philly, and they have Washington, they have the Islanders. They have really good teams in their top 4, and the Penguins are on the outside looking in, and the Rangers playing better as of late as well. So I think because a team as good as the Penguins or the Flyers or the Islanders or the Bruins, somebody's going to miss the playoffs, that makes them the best division so far in my mind.
So we look at the East Division. We see those 5 teams fighting for 4 spots. Based on what you've seen, Callie, which team ends up on the outside looking in? Is it the Pens, who are there right now?
I do. I think it is the Pens.
Really? Okay.
I do. I think that Philly and Pittsburgh are kind of going to be fighting for that last spot, and two better teams that go down to the wire. But I mean, don't hold me to it. But I looking at it right now, I think it's Pittsburgh. Part of that reason is just because is Tristan Jarry the Tristan Jarry from the beginning of this year, or is he the Tristan Jarry of late? And he has been playing great late, but that's one question mark for me. Can he keep this up through the rest of the stretch? And I got them on the outside right now.
What do you like about the Flyers, since you have them in?
Yeah, I mean, I just like how the Flyers built. I think they got a lot of offense from their back end as well, which I like to see. And I feel like that's a team that's just been knocking on the door for quite a while. They had a really good year last year. It's always that team that I'm like, I want more out of. You know, I feel like with that lineup, and then Carter Hart as well, who hasn't been playing great as of late, but I think they got really good goaltending, and it's one of those teams I feel like I'm always rooting for because I know how much talent they have and how far they can go.
Johnny, what do you think? You agree? Pitt on the outside looking in. If you had to choose today.
Yeah, I mean, preseason, I think I had Pitt on the inside and the Islanders on the outside, jockeying for 4 or 5.
Sure.
I think I would probably say Pitt there now, just given the holes in their lineup and some of the trouble keeping pucks out of their net, defensive zone breakdowns. I would agree. And Philly is dangerous because Carter Hart, as you mentioned, he's not been as good as he can be. And I still think they're adjusting to life without Matti Niskanen. That loss really changed the back end and the system play and how tight they were. So I look for Philadelphia to be busy at the deadline. I don't know who they're going to get, but they're going to get a stay-at-home defenseman to kind of fill that Niskanen kind of void and hope lock things down and send them on their way like they did at the end of last year.
And the trade deadline just a little bit over a month away, but we might get some action ahead of the deadline, like a couple weeks ahead, depending if the Canadian teams want to do business with some of the American teams. We'll have those answers in the next couple of weeks.